Alright, today I want to talk about 3 reasons to why there are struggles, difficulties in your life, and every time you're in some sort of struggle or difficulty or hardship, you just want to get out. That is the only thing that you think about. Maybe it's some health crisis or something. You just want to get better, or financial crisis. You just want money, family issue. Everyone just strives all the time. Whatever problem they have, they just want to get out of it. But I want to talk about how sometimes the middle of that storm is, where the real happiness comes. Sometimes, you could later on get out of that crisis, get out of that storm, and then look back and remember how much happiness you had during that trial. I mean, it wasn't fun during the trial, but when you're out of it, it's almost like you had this peace back then. So welcome to this playlist, The Light Path, where we talk about life and Bible verses. And so the first thing I want to talk about is, if you're going through a hardship, if you're going through some sort of problem or trial, I want you to think about one thing. Ask one thing. Ask yourself, before this problem started, was there something that you wanted? Was there something that you desired? Was there something that you maybe prayed for? Was there something that you had this inner desire that you wanted to change in your life? And then while you're thinking about that, think about your current hardship and ask yourself, is that related? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're in a job and you're doing your job every day, 5 days a week, and maybe inside you desire or wonder if you could have something better. And then ask yourself, is the hardship that you're going through now related to that desire? Are you all of a sudden now getting some hardship in your job? Maybe work is becoming uncomfortable to push you to do something like start a business, or do a degree or get a new skill. And God is actually going to present you with an opportunity, but He just wants to make sure that you take the opportunity when it comes. Chances are, if you're too comfortable where you are, then you won't. And this isn't just for something that you either desired or prayed for. Sometimes it could just be God has a better plan for you that you don't even realize, you never even really thought of. And this is especially true when you live a life where it's you're dedicated to God, you're dedicated to virtue and righteousness, and you've made changes in your life, you've made sacrifices, you've turned away from wickedness and filth, you've turned away from all of that stuff, and then now all of a sudden your life is getting harder, and you might be saying, well, shouldn't I be blessed? And see, in the Bible, God's people, the people of Israel back then, were slaves in Egypt, and the slavery was getting harder and harder. It was okay in the beginning, but it was just getting harder and harder, and God heard their cry and wanted to help them, and so He led them out of Egypt to go into the promised land. But to go into the promised land, they went through the desert. And even though God was supplying them everything in the desert, some of them just got scared, and they feared, and they didn't have that faith, and they wanted to go back into slavery. And maybe that's happening with you as well. Maybe there's plans, for great things. Pressures are mounting in Egypt, pressures are mounting where you are now, and God's leading you to go out into the wilderness, and then eventually to the promised land. But the thing is, even the desert, even the wilderness is better than slavery. They were in a way free. They didn't have to be whipped and forced labor, and God was providing them with food and water. The only problem was they got scared, and as they were entering the promised land, they got more scared because of the challenges, and they wanted to go back to Egypt, back into slavery, when God is providing them with the promised land. And a similar point to this is that when you're going through difficulty and hardships, it teaches you that there are infinite possibilities. It teaches you that miracles can happen, that you can believe for things sometimes that you can't see. People who haven't really gone through many hardships tend to have like a single track mind. They're not open to maybe the impossible, thinking outside the square. They think the world works by making like calculated steps. They don't realize the world is very nuanced. The other thing that happens when you're going through hardships is it gives you this strange sense of calm. You know, have you ever felt maybe you're in a group of people and you feel a little bit awkward, a little restless, like you're not adequate, you're not calm, and people around you seem to be more relaxed and at ease? Like, it's the constant struggles and worry and labor that actually builds that quiet confidence. Relaxed, chill people who can enjoy the moment of peace while sitting around with their friends before having to go back into the battlefield. The person who lives at ease and hasn't really been pushed and pressured, you know, they're constantly fidgeting on their phone and restless and difficulty to connect, making eye contact. They have dry humor, almost like they're acting the social encounter. But the person with pressures in their life, they can be themselves. They're not self-conscious. They have this strange power to make humor and make a funny comment that resonates in people's soul. The person who's at ease is, you know, chasing pointless arguments that leaves everyone wondering, like, why on earth is this guy putting so much effort to push such an empty discussion? The reason is that hardships fills your soul and provides buckets of refreshing water to those around you, while ease makes your well empty and you pull out buckets of air from the emptiness inside you. And the last point is hardships keeps you humble. You know, there are several situations that I've looked back at, the hard situations that I've gone through, and some of them I've said, you know what, I'm a better person for going through that. And other ones I'm saying, well, you know, was that really necessary? But for those ones I could say, well, at least it kept me humble. Sometimes we don't realize the effect that we have on others. Maybe it's like intimidation, or maybe you make people feel inferiority or insecurity. You know, sometimes we don't realize that we have this effect on other people. And sometimes God needs to keep you in check, so you don't go out too enthusiastically with your talents. So God maybe sends you a little something to keep you humble and quiet. Maybe that little health scare, that little financial worry, that little family problem, just to keep you calm. Keep you doing your job, just don't be so loud about it. Talk softer, tilt your head down a little bit. The ones with the heads lifted up and the loudest are the ones who want to prove themselves but don't really have anything to show. So that's all I wanted to talk about. If you're going through a hardship, to see, I guess, to have faith. And if you are living your life aligned with God, then He will get you through the desert and get you into the promised land. And He will make you see things that you've never seen before. He'll make you realize that there's hope and faith in life. And He'll make you a blessing for other people around you. So, like, if you resonate with what I'm saying, if maybe you're going through something, please don't forget to leave a comment. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you like my content in general, please subscribe. And if you are riding a motorcycle, take it easy and ride safe.